friends, welcome to Stamping with Wow. It's Jennifer Sasaki, your Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today is August 28, 2020. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. Today I'm going to a bridal shower and I need a card, so I thought I would throw one together real quick and take a video of how I make it. I'm going to be using the Dandelion Wishes stamp set. And obviously you can see I'll use Mary Merlot for inking and Versamark, which means we'll be embossing. I thought I'd use some silver embossing powder, and I'm going to use some silver ribbon. The Dandelion Wishes stamp set can be found in the annual catalog, and it's a $20 stamp set. And those little dandelions just make me want to emboss. Up at the top of the screen is my store website and hostess code for August 2020. So if you're placing your order in August 2020 and it's under $150, please use that hostess code and we'll do a collective workshop that will earn everyone some free merchandise. If your order is over $150, don't use the hostess code and you'll earn your own free merchandise. So I'm going to be using this silver metallic mesh ribbon that comes from the Celebrations catalog that's in the Halloween section. It looks kind of like silvery spider webs, but I thought it would look really pretty on this card. The colors I'm using are Night of Navy, Gray Granite, Mary Merlot, Whisper White, and I'm also using a piece of silver foil. I've already die cut out the Whisper White, and I'm using on this silver foil, I'm using the painted labels dies. I just love that die shape right there. This is a 3x3 inch square of Mary Merlot. This is a 5x4 inch gray granite. And the Night of Navy paper is, I actually cut it on the long way, so it's 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. So that's a little different than my past cards. And then the inside sentiment piece is 5 inches by 4 inches. So I'm going to be using silver embossing powder and that Versamark ink, as well as the Mary Merlot ink for the inside of the card. And we'll add some rhinestones to our sentiment to give it a little sparkle. So we're going to start with the embossing. So I'll be embossing a dandelion onto the Mary Merlot paper, and I'll be embossing my sentiment onto that circle of Whisper White. That was die cutted using the stitched layering dies. You can't see the ink imprint from the Versamark because it's more of like a glue, and what it is it's ink for embossing. So when I get the embossing powder out, it's really going to stick to my stamped image. So here's my silver embossing powder. I keep it in a little container to make it easier to use. But here in Las Vegas, we always have ceiling fans going, so the embossing powder still gets all over the place because there's actually air current going on at the time. So by the time I'm done embossing, I have quite a gritty powder everywhere. It's kind of funny. So I'm just using that little spoon to sprinkle the embossing powder onto my stamped images. Those little spoons are plastic, and I found them at the 99-cent store, and I just cut off a little bit of the top edge. I'm using an old toothbrush to brush off some of the embossing powder in areas I don't want it. I normally would use the embossing buddy, which is a little powdered packet, but I forgot to use it. And then a good piece of advice here is to use something to hold down your item being embossed because the heat tool gets rather hot, and so you need something to keep your paper together. I decided to do a come close in so you could see the heat image activating. I just think embossing is fun to watch. To me, it's still a little magical in my eye. I just like watching the powder start evolving. Can't see it so well on the Whisper White, I guess. Oh, there it goes. It's kind of... So you just run the embossing tool onto the stamped image until it's fully melted. I just think embossed images look so nice on the card. So her wedding colors are, I can't remember if I already said that. Her wedding colors are navy, burgundy, and silver gray. So I thought this card would be really pretty for her wedding colors. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals onto my sentiment, and then I'm going to adhere it to that silver foil die that I punched out. The circle, the stitch layered circle I'm using is slightly bigger than that circle in the center of the die, but I still think it works nicely. The circle layer smaller than that was a little too small for the sentiment, so sometimes you just got to make do, right? And when you're adding your rhinestones, always think in odds. So I added 3 rhinestones. And I'm going to lay my card out in a landscape format just to be a little different than the typical portrait. So I'm going to do the stamping for the inside of the card. So another image in the stamp set die is a dandelion being blown apart, basically. And I'm using the Mary Merlot ink, and I'm going to stamp off the first layer of ink, so I'm going to get more of a faded impression. I call it a second generation of inking. So I'm going to just use that piece of scratch paper right there, stamp on it, and then I'm going to stamp my image onto the card. So this I like to keep fainter on the inside of the card so that when I write in the card, if I write over the image, it's not hampering the reader or the receiver from reading the card. And then there's some loose dandelions stems that I'm going to stamp on the side of the card, again using the second generation of ink. And I think I go just a little bit crazy because I end up doing a whole row of it instead of just letting it be. It could have probably been easily just the one stamp that I first did up at the top corner. But the card, the inside is pretty. I like the card a lot. I'm really happy with how it comes out in the end. That's me feeling the powder from embossing earlier all over everything. You just feel a grit feeling everywhere. It's it gets comical after a while. Okay, so I'm going to add the gray granite cardstock to the front of my card. And I'm using the stamping seal, and I'm not putting long strips of it. I'm just using like 1/2 inch to 1 inch long strips in each corner and then a little bit in the center. Since the way the card opens, I thought it would be best for the ribbon to be a full wrap around the card. I didn't want to hide it under the gray granite piece of cardstock. I wanted it on top of that. So it's hard to effectively hide the ends if you don't wrap it completely around the card. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hide the ribbon ends under my sentiment, so no one will see where those two, not that you'd probably really notice in this mesh ribbon, but you won't see where these two ends meet up because my sentiment will be over it. I just think that looks really pretty, those two items together. So I'm going to put glue on the sentiment right now, but I'm going to be lifting it back up because I forgot to put my dandelion piece on it. And I wanted that to fall under the ribbon and under the sentiment. So I don't know what I was thinking at that moment, but as you see, I'm taking it all basically apart, and I'm going to slip this dandelion's image under the silver mesh and under my sentiment. So I'll replace my sentiment now. And that's the front of my card. It's nice and simple, but I think it's very pretty. And then we're going to add the inside sentiment. And there we're done. This card came out really pretty. I think I'll feel proud giving it on Sunday or today, because you'll see this video on Sunday. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. It gives my channel a boost. And thank you for watching. I know you could do many things with your time, and I appreciate any time you spend watching my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. So have a great weekend. Bye for now.